Thousands gathered today in St. Peter's Square as Pope Francis's remains were brought to rest for 3 days of viewing by the public in the 16th century basilica. The pontiff, who died Monday at the age of 88, will be celebrated this Saturday in an elaborate funeral mass.
The mourners came from all corners of the world, some compelled by pilgrimage, others ending Roman holidays with a visit to St. Peter's to witness a snapshot in time of the 2,000-year-old Catholic Church. Malcolm Brabant reports again for us tonight from Rome.
The bells of St. Peter's tolled mournfully as Pope Francis's coffin was carried on the latest stage of his journey to eternity. From the guest house where he died to a temporary resting place beneath the dome of the basilica. Pope Francis may have been a very modern reforming pontiff, but the traditions that determined this procession were timeless and would have been recognizable to the faithful from centuries past. For the time being, the cardinals in their scarlet robes cast aside the politicking and horse trading that precede the election of Francis's successor. In this most solemn of ceremonies, their duty was to honor the man who dedicated his life to being a mouthpiece for the poor and downtrodden. Francis will lie in state for 3 days and nights until his funeral on Saturday. And until then, the faithful will shuffle to his casket for their moment in time and an unforgettable capsule of personal history. I'm just outside St. Peter's Square, in amongst the crowds who are waiting very patiently to get a very brief glimpse of Pope Francis as he lies in his coffin inside this very grand basilica behind me. Many of them have been waiting for hours and will continue to do so until they can get inside, just to spend a few seconds besides the coffin of Pope Francis to say farewell. Among those seeking the shade in broiling temperatures was American mining lawyer Rob Milbourne, who says he's on a spiritual journey. Milbourne flew to Rome specifically to pay tribute to the late pontiff.
To me, I see in him an example of what it means to be a servant. I think his legacy will continue through the millions of people who love him. I don't think his legacy will fall, but it'll keep changing. He changed over his life, and the world will change too. But honoring him and respecting him, I think, is a good thing.
Further back in the line was Ghanaian biochemical engineer Graham Wilberforce, who was on a pilgrimage to Rome when the Pope died. Wilberforce heralds from a Catholic family and aimed to make his moment by the coffin life-affirming.
I have my personal intentions as well as my family's personal intentions, of which I was sent to deliver when I get here. So practically it's personal, but I believe His Holiness is in safe hands, and probably he would be able to convey my message to the Virgin Mary and Jesus Christ, his son.
Despite being a lapsed Catholic, Suzanne Herrnleben from Germany and in Rome for an opera decided to line up to sample history in the making.
I hope that the liberal tendency in the church is going on and that there are no conservative backlash. I think, at least in Europe, the church wouldn't survive if it would be more conservative as it has been before Pope Francis.
Some pilgrims fell to their knees in prayer as they drew level with the pontiff. But others were apparently impervious to the grandeur of the cathedral and the solemnity of the occasion. Their priority was to record the event on their phones, a parable for the modern world. But for most, the experience was moving.
We wanted to come on purpose. Look, this morning at 9 a.m., I was in the hospital. I came here to visit the Pope because he deserved it. A Pope like this is not easy to find. Let's hope for the best for the future.
We knew there were many people, so we approached this with calmness. It's an opportunity to be able to pray for our Pope, and it's the feeling one experiences when a family member passes away, as he is a father, a grandfather who has gone.
Yeah, very, very moving experience to see him so vulnerable after so long, being so unwell. A real pleasure and privilege to be there.
As preparations for Saturday's funeral gather pace, the size of these crowds pose a question for the cardinals. Will they be able to select a successor who can inspire similar or greater devotion? For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Malcolm Brabant in Rome.